Condolences to family.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free!
What an idiot.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how exactly murdering two staffers at an embassy is going to change geopolitics in the Middle East. It's an infantile response.
Tragic event happened in Washington, D.C. Two staffers from the Israeli embassy were murdered in cold blood by a pro-Palestine activist who went on and started chanting "Free Palestine" and then said that he did it for Gaza. What is it? How did the most dangerous people in America have become the radical pro-Palestine left?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting turn of events when the greatest support for terrorist organizations is coming from the progressives. Yeah, I mean, you see all those protests when you watch the videos from the campuses, the things they wave around. Now, a lot of it is naivety. Let's not say that as if everybody there understands exactly what they're supporting or understand the implications, right? When you ask them, yes, they'll say, no, we don't support Hamas, we support Palestine, right? With the freedom for the people, which of course, that's, if you view it as them being completely disconnected one from the other, then you can say like, well, okay, I understand that point of view. But that's such a superficial, top level, no depth understanding of the situation.
Actually, I've seen someone who've checked his accounts before they start removing it from social media, and it was found that he was ordering on eBay prayer rugs with an image of the towers on 9/11 being hit by the airplane. So I guess that's, he probably became a radical Muslim, or he somehow support what happened in 9/11. Not surprising. Again, the left is linking itself with terrorism and with radicalism. Nothing new under the sun.
All right. So in other news, we have a new system being launched by China. They're calling it a drone mothership. Everybody's already been hearing a lot about drones from Ukraine, of course, but this is really it's a fairly obvious next step. Talking about a system that's a UAV itself, a drone ship that can fly long distances. We can see the range there of 7,000 kilometers. And we're talking about 100 or hundreds of drones. However, they are very susceptible to air defense. And since we're speaking of air defense, we have the other plan that's being proposed by the Trump administration, the Golden Dome. So being Trump, of course, it's golden. And then China's response to that is, well, it increases the risk of space becoming a battlefield. I don't buy that argument. It's the same argument that was being made that it's unfair that Israel has the Iron Dome. What do you mean unfair? They have rockets being launched into their cities. It's not an offensive weapon. So if you're talking about anytime something is defensive, you don't really have any kind of argument to make against it unless you're planning to try to break through it. Then you complain because it makes it harder for you. So I don't know exactly what the legitimacy they have to their complaint on this.
Wow, man, these motherships of drones, that reminds me kind of StarCraft, if you remember that hovership of the Protoss. But with AI, imagine that flying over a city, the havoc, the damage that it can cause. And if you use it for an assassination tool, how can you run away from, how many drones did it have?
Well, they're talking right now about 100 drones, but of course, a payload like that is always you can always configure it. So either less larger drones, more smaller drones.
So you have 100 drones with AI and your picture on them, and they're chasing you. These things seems to be like science fiction about 5 years ago, and then now it's happening. Imagine what's going to be in 10 years from now. So undoubtedly, this Golden Dome is a very necessary thing, if you ask me, to have it over every city.
Yeah. So price tag, they're talking about $175 billion. And it's a government program. So I'm guessing at least twice that cost and seven times the amount of time to complete.
Speaking of Trump, he just destroyed the president of South Africa. Did you watch that video where he tells him that everything is okay in South Africa? And then Trump, kudos to Trump. He put him on the spot, says, sorry, I can't agree with that. And then he pulled a video of the guy saying, hunt the boar, kill the farmer, and just dancing. A very embarrassing video. So let's watch this video, guys, and we can talk about it.
This on, it's right behind you.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. Never be scared to kill. There must be killing because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa.
No wonder that South Africa is supporting Palestine. I mean, they have the same mentality. That is, what a video, huh? Kudos to Trump. Really, I take my hat off. He put him in his place and he exposed him. And that was beautiful.
Yeah, to give a counterpoint to that, ambushing a head of state, I don't know if that's, I mean, yeah, it grabs headlines, obviously, but in the future, are heads of state not going to want to visit? You know, you could be burning future bridges here. So his job as president is to be top diplomat, and that wasn't very diplomatic. Now, as far as what's going on, there's absolutely a global silence on what's going on over there. President Ramaphosa gave a pretty good response. His response to Trump, oh, well, I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
Ooh, that was under the belt. That was
But this is exactly the problem when we talked about Trump receiving that airplane. It doesn't matter. Yes, apparently it abided by all the rules and requirements of receiving a gift, which fine. You know, legality is great. However, there's the optics, like we talked about when we mentioned it before, right? How does that look? And the problem is this is things that now people can respond with, you know, and it questions your legitimacy.
your integrity, because it kind of leaves
Yeah.
the taste that if you have a lot of money, then Trump is not going to embarrass you. But if you don't have a lot of money, then Trump is going to expose you, because Qatar can be as easily exposed like South Africa. They're involved in so many shady, wrong things around the globe, from October 7th to kidnapping, killing American citizens to supporting radical terrorist regimes. But Trump chose to say to Qatar, you are our friends, great friendship. But then South Africa come. I say Trump should stay Trump on everyone, not just on whoever he sees like, okay, they have money, let's be nice to them. They don't have money. So in that aspect, I do think that the South African president did have a good comeback here, but it still doesn't change the fact that this is just a radical regime, if you want to
Right.
call it.
Yeah, and honestly, Qatar is worse. Let's be honest here. So, all right, and interesting. Or speaking of Trump, I guess continuing that trend. So, first, let me say the enforcement of the border and actually creating a border on the south is fantastic. That's something that's been needing to happen for years, and Trump did it very quickly. It's one thing he promised to do during the prior to the elections, and he's doing it. You know, the whole 4 years, well, the years prior with Biden, they kept saying, "Oh, we can't. Well, we can't really. Oh, it needs this, it needs that. We need some passing of some bills," and Trump just did it. You know, and that's kind of how Trump operates, right? He just does things. However, now that IC, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, are apparently starting to, they're raiding the immigration courts to catch illegals. Now, I'm all for catching criminal illegals, and if you're illegal, yes, I think illegally here, right? Not illegal humans. I know some people on the left get all wound up about that. They're not illegal humans. They're simply illegally in the U.S. But if you go into the courts, those are the people that are trying to follow the rules and are showing up to their appointments, right? These are not the cartels, and it's not MS-13, and it's not whoever. They don't show up to court. So how about focus your energy on going after the people that are here illegally and also doing bad things?
If you want a good tip, you want to find illegal people that you definitely don't want in your country, just go to these pro-Palestine demonstrations where they're burning American flags and chanting Intifada Revolution. You'll find plenty of people that you definitely should deport from your country. I'm talking illegal immigrants or even people that came with student visas and are clearly coming and saying that they want to destroy your country. And back to Syria, an update from the ground. The situation is still dire. However, there is some exciting news. Good friends of mine, Druze from America, are in the process of creating a Druze lobby in the American government. And that lobby is going to be pushing for the recognition of the Druze in Syria and that they don't fall between the chairs as we try to kind of normalize what's happening in Syria. Hopefully, that lobby can catch some traction and can help push and remind that there's a lot of innocent minorities in Syria, not only the Druze. There's Christians, there's Kurds, there's Alawites. People like to hate the Alawites, and I understand why. But you got to think about it. An Alawite kid who was born during the Assad regime and now is being murdered He didn't do anything. He didn't support anyone. He did not come and choose to endorse the Assad dictatorship, as well as many, many Alawites. There is innocent people there in the Alawites community as well. So to keep you updated about Syria, guys, it's far from over, and that Arab version of Mad Max is still going on steroids, and we really hope that things will start getting better. Thank Daniel for joining as well for the updates. We're going to keep updating you on a daily basis, hopefully, if we manage to do it. After all, we are doing this out of our own free time and our own free will. If you want to find direct practical ways to support this channel, you can go and check the Patreon. We can find practical ways to do that. And also, don't forget to do the like, subscribe, share, the whole shebang. It helps the algorithm to start pushing this content forward. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.